What's going on, all you wild hound dogs out there and creatures of the night? Your two least favorite uncles from the Chicagoland area are back at it tonight. I am the good boy, Logan Myers. That's my good mate over there.
And I am Henry Hill, and we are back for the 31 Days of Horror, the horror of it all. And we're back with an independent film here, one that got a lot of buzz, especially around the Halloween season. Had heard about it, a couple months previous, I'd say like late summertime, about this movie that was shot all from the dog's perspective. The dog witnessing everything, and a really interesting concept for a movie here. And we are reviewing Good Boy. Come here.
I guess I'm next. I should never come here.
That's right, those two dog enthusiasts are back at it tonight for more 31 Days of Horror. And I've been very excited for this flick. Probably the past, 5, 6 months. The buzz going around this from the perspective of man's best friend, a dog here. Both of us having dogs, loving dogs. So I was super excited to see, the take in this film of Ben Leyenberg directing it, and his dog, Indy, his actual dog, is the star of this movie. So very excited for it. I knew the runtime was a little shorter, but the setup here is this owner's sick. They live in a place. They have to move out to his family's estate in the middle of nowhere in the woods. And it brings his best friend here, Indy, with him. And that's when all the spooky stuff starts happening when they move in this old place.
The dog, we're witnessing it through the dog's eyes, and you're witnessing a lot of paranormal things happening around this, house out in the woods, basically this estate. And then he's also noticing things going wrong and happening to his owner himself. And you're seeing everything through basically the dog's point of view, which makes it interesting. It's something new that we haven't really seen before in a film here, and that's what this film has going for it. It's very unique, and trying something outside the box. We've seen a lot of horror movies over the years. What possibly could they do new? And this one, definitely utilizes a new technique and a new way to film and a new perspective, and definitely has the atmosphere. The movie has a lot of atmosphere, I will say. The cinematography is pretty well done, capturing it from the dog's eyes, and also, focusing in on the dog and getting his reaction to what's going on around him, Indy, basically, man's best friend, of course, and his owner. And then just yeah, seeing everything like slowly creepy things happening. You're witnessing all these seemingly, ghosts and things come back to haunt Indy and the owner, and you're getting it all from that perspective, which was really cool and well done. My big issue with this movie is, the concept of it's so neat, but the rest of the film, the writing and everything, there's not much to it. It's kind of hollow, not much for a story here, but it's just so cool seeing it from a dog's perspective. And you do get some cool scenes, where there's blood and a little gore here, and it doesn't rely a lot on CGI or anything like that. So it's, very, very well shot and well, done overall. And overall, the thing that I took from this movie is just what a good performance by the dog. I mean, you have a dog as the centerpiece of the movie, and how good is the dog going to act? Both of us have dogs. We both know how hard it is to get them to sit, let alone, be directed for an hour and 10 minutes. So that's what I took away from this movie. Indy was indeed a good boy and a good actor in this movie.
Zero CGI in this film. I was reading about this. It's all
That's
practical, all
awesome.
real dog. Way they filmed it, kind of a low budget indie flick. I thought
Hmm.
it was well done, like really well done.
Hmm.
Just the dog alone, Indy,
Hmm.
was incredible. Growing up like paranormal and dogs and things like that, you would always see your dog looking over off to the corner of this, the room, and nobody's there. In this movie, it's through, the dog's eyes, what they actually see, which is really unique and awesome. And how they got the camera work on that was incredible. Some cool suspense in this, a few jump scares, and yeah, Oscar award winning performance here by this dog, Indy. Let's nominate him here. He was such a good boy in this movie. And, of course, everybody's wondering, does the dog live or does the dog die? Well, I don't want to spoil anything here, but you can take a wild guess what happens to old Indy here. Forgot to bring up the owner, which you don't really see his face. Todd is his name, played by Shane Jensen. But he's the one that gets, sick early on, moves to the house, and just gets worse and worse. And, the dog is supposed to be loyal to its owner, but the owner kind of turns into like Jack Torrance, where the dog starts questioning him, like, should I be protecting myself from my owner? And there really dives into a lot of messages and themes having to do with that. And it was really interesting how they did that. The owner, Todd, not that impressive, but I came to see the movie for the dog itself, and I thought the dog was top notch, top tier. I want more movies with this dog, like Air Bud, but with Indy.
Yeah.
This movie's only 73 minutes long, so if you're looking for a movie to watch coming up here to Halloween, definitely check this movie out, especially if you're, pet dog lovers. You'll have a great time with this. Really great introduction and film from Ben Lindbergh, directing and bringing his dog into this movie. Interested to see more of Ben's work, so we'll see what comes out in the future. But I had a good time with this. We saw it at the theater, and this is a movie I would definitely rewatch during the Halloween season. So with that being said, I'm going to give Good Boy, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Indy, front pieces.
Indy, I want to meet this dog. Very cool dog, very lovable. Love the streak running through the middle of his face there. Just a cool performance overall. Definitely a good boy. Very cool how it's actually the director's dog. I actually didn't know that. So that's really cool. Yeah, just, not a lot not to like about this film. If you're coming for like a really like terrifying performance or anything like that, it's not terrifying by any means, but it's definitely has some creepy moments there. And yeah, like you mentioned, just remembering from being kids and having dogs, and like you mentioned, them picking up on, having a sixth sense about things. That's definitely the vibe that this movie gives off. So with that being said, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 Todd hair pieces.
Interested in hearing from all you wild dog lovers out there. What did you like about Good Boy? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite horror flick of the year thus far? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out these wild uncles on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news, and reviews.
What a 31 days of horror it has been. It's been a great time for these two wild rascals all month long, reviewing nothing but horror movies and TV shows, both old and new, revisiting, and some new films like Good Boy here. If you want to watch Good Boy, check it out. It's on digital. It's available to rent, to watch on digital. Yeah, I definitely want to rewatch this again. This will definitely be one that I'll be revisiting, see what I missed the first time. It's definitely a good movie for sure, and an impressive performance by an animal. And I've heard some, buzz like actually getting the dog nominated. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But it's definitely a really cool performance by a pooch here in a film, one of the most memorable ones. And it being the horror genre and not been done before, this one will be remembered. So it definitely made a mark in the horror genre here. So can't wait to see what's next from Ben Lindbergh and see if he brings Indy back. That'll be cool to see. Well, anyways, we'll see you guys on the next 31 Days of Horror. We're wrapping up this month. And until then, I am Henry.
And I'm Uncle Logan Myers, signing out till the next review, 31 Days of Horror. Cheers!
Cheers!
Woo, woo, woo.